So hello, everyone, and welcome to our full moon ceremony tonight. Tonight, we're honoring the Cancer Capricorn axis. And I'd like to start with a quote from Joanna Macy that exemplifies the highest expression of the Cancer energy, which is compassion for the world. Quote, "See how we are all called to not run from discomfort, and not run from the grief or the feelings of outrage or even fear. If we can be fearless to be with our pain, it turns, it doesn't stay. It only doesn't change if we refuse to look at it. When we look at it, when we take it in our hands, when we can just be with it, when we keep breathing, then it turns. It turns to reveal its other face. And the other face of our pain for the world is our love for the world, our absolutely inseparable connectedness with all life." End quote. Joanna Macy. So the day that the sun entered the sign of Cancer, which was June 21st, we also celebrated the summer solstice. This is a potent time to be in ceremony tonight as we honor the sun's full blessing upon us. These important changes in nature's cycle always give us the opportunity to shift our perspective and welcome the new that is coming into our lives. It's a time to get clarity about the intentions that we wish to set. As we end one cycle and begin another, we attune to a different vibration. In the Northern Hemisphere, these energies have a yin quality to them. They're receptive in nature, inviting us to go within and align with the spiritual realms, so we may receive guidance and information that will help in humanity's evolution. The soul-centered mantra for Cancer is, "I build a lighted house and therein dwell." The lighted house can represent many different things, but since it is the soul-centered mantra, I interpret this to mean that somehow we must open to the light of the soul and use that light to radiate every aspect of our being until we become the lighted house, where all may come to be nurtured, loved, and cared for. Can we do this? Can we open ourselves to more light? It might not be as easy as it sounds. We have to give up all the obstacles first. The Cancer personality wants to protect, to defend, to hold close those that she cares about. But the soul is asking her to open up the doors and the windows of her house and let the light in, inviting all of humanity into the radiant home within herself. Can you imagine opening your heart to the whole world? This light can dissolve obstacles, transmute hindrances, and dispel illusions. Can you welcome it into your life? How much can you tolerate? How do you expand your capacity to hold more? Usually the light does not come as a blinding flash. It creeps in slowly, one ray at a time, until the body becomes a radiant expression of pure, unconditional love. I'd like to quote now Stephanie Austin, an astrologer, as she describes the Cancer energy. Cancer represents the sacred feminine, the archetype of the Great Mother, who births, nurtures, and protects life. She's the fourth sign in the zodiac and seeks to develop a healthy sense of home and family, roots and support? What recharges us? What helps us grow? How is our relationship with our loved ones and our ancestors? She goes on to say, while the moon is the traditional ruler of Cancer, sharing many of its archetypal themes, Neptune is considered the esoteric ruler and the higher octave. The moon, with its ever-changing shape, is the mother of all forms. Neptune is not only the god of the sea, but also the fluidity of the astral plane and higher dimensional realities. The moon stimulates our emotional bodies and the development of emotional intelligence, our capacity to identify, acknowledge, and act on the information encoded in our feelings. Neptune represents the birth of the Christ consciousness, where we no longer identify with physical form, but as a child of the universe and love incarnate. By dissolving our illusions and attachments, by increasing our sensitivity, compassion, and spiritual awareness, we awaken to our higher self, our divinity, and kinship with all life. End quote. As a water sign, Cancer immerses us in the intricacies of feeling, food, and family. And as an earth sign, Capricorn compels us to master the rules, the roles, and the responsibilities of physical reality. So how do we blend these two energies? What improvements can we make at home, Cancer, and at work, Capricorn? Where do we need to bring in more nourishment and support? And where do we need to show clearer boundaries? That would be Capricorn. These are some of the questions that we need to ponder this month. This full moon is the first of 4 super full moons in a row. These supermoons amplify the gravitational and electromagnetic effects on the tides, as well as on our bodies and psyches. Supermoons occur when the moon is especially close to the earth and is opposite the sun. This increases emotional volatility and can also manifest as a shift in our consciousness. All full moons illuminate what is happening in our lives right now. What is working and what needs changing? This particular full moon is asking us to pay special attention to what's missing in our lives and to take whatever steps we need to bring that into manifestation. Be sure you take a few moments to go out and look at the moon tonight. It's really magnificent. I saw it last night and it looks like it's just right outside your window. Every month, as the sun enters a new sign, we are also impacted by its opposite sign, as we've said many times. So the challenge is always, how do we balance these seemingly opposite energies? The sign opposite Cancer is Capricorn. Even though Cancer is a water sign and Capricorn is an earth sign, they both have much in common. However, their expressions are different. Let's look at what needs balancing with these two signs. I know these two signs very well because I have a Capricorn rising and a Cancer moon. So this is a constant balancing act for me in my life. Here are some of Cancer's qualities. Mothering, nurturing. Cancer wants to settle down and create a nest, wants to nurture and fix others, and protect loved ones from pain. She has a very tender emotional nature because she's a water sign. She may have a hard time setting boundaries. Oh yeah. Saying no and requiring discipline from others. I think I've told you this story before, but when my daughter was in high school, she had a boyfriend. And he used to come walking right into the house without knocking or ringing the bell or anything. And I thought, I need to tell him to let me know when he's coming over, or at least knock. And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I could not set that boundary, as simple as it was. Luckily, I progressed a little bit since that day, but it's still a challenge for me. So a hard time setting boundaries and saying no, and requiring discipline from others. When Cancer has to be firm, she suffers. She feels too much and copes by overreacting and being overly protective. My kids could testify to this point. As a water sign, the personality is naturally fluid, ruled by the moon and the tides, so she can suffer mood swings. One symbol for Cancer is the crab. She hides under her shell and is territorial and tenacious. Her pincers hold on tightly to family, to old ideas, to old ways of being, and old wounds. She doesn't forget or forgive easily. She doesn't like change, and she can become very defensive when hurt. However, she has a huge loving heart, and as she evolves, she expands her capacity to love and nurture and opens her arms to the whole world. Everybody becomes her family. She is the mother of the world, and that is the sole purpose of the Cancer energy. Capricorn's qualities. As an earth sign, Capricorn is pragmatic and practical and more detached emotionally than Cancer. As I said, I can understand this dynamic very well. I can easily engage my heart, but to balance things out, I also have to ask what's realistic in this situation. I had a friend once who had 5 planets in Pisces, which is a water sign, and my Capricorn rising, and his water sign didn't always see eye to eye. I've told this story before too, but I'll tell it again because it's so indicative of this energy. We went for a drive once and we were over on the Olympic Peninsula and we came to this beautiful piece of land and he said, oh, let's buy this land. Let's build a retreat center on it. We could put cabins here and we could have a vegetable garden and we could have people come and stay and blah, 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 blah. And I said, the first thing that came to my mind was, yeah, and how are you going to pay for it? You know, neither one of us had enough money to do that kind of a project, but he was like living in the ethers and I was like down to earth. So that didn't always work out so well. Anyway, there's a strong energy of an inner authority with Capricorn that doesn't really listen much to what other people think. The unevolved Capricorn can get so independent and sure of himself that he can become rigid and authoritarian in his behavior, arrogant and unwilling to listen to others, and out of touch with his feelings. He craves structure and order and organization. He's not much into the easy flow of a water sign. The evolved Capricorn trusts his inner wisdom, uses it wisely, and stands in the world and says, this is who I am. He represents conscious, autonomous individuality. The evolved symbol for Capricorn is the mountaintop. He climbs fearlessly, steadfastly to reach the peak of spiritual enlightenment. How can these two energies work together in balance, you might ask? Capricorn can provide the stability and the grounding that watery Cancer needs. It's firm and solid and stable and can anchor Cancer's fluid nature. Cancer has to learn to make Earth her home, to become grounded in physical reality that Capricorn represents. When Cancer becomes fearful, she can call on Capricorn's strength. If she's awash in emotions, she can look to Capricorn's rational, objective energy to give her clarity. When Capricorn becomes rigid and detached from his heart, he can call on the warmth of Cancer to bathe him in unconditional love. The full moon asks us to become aware of the balance between our outer life, symbolized by Capricorn, and our inner life, symbolized by Cancer. An interesting aspect of this Cancer-Capricorn polarity is their position on the zodiacal wheel. Cancer sits at the bottom of the zodiacal wheel in the 4th house. It symbolizes our foundation, where our home is, the mother principle. Capricorn symbolizes the father, autonomous individuality, earth, stability. It sits at the top of the wheel, the mountaintop, in the 10th house, where we share our gifts with the world. So in a very real sense, our evolutionary journey must take us first into the depths of the mother, of matter, of the collective unconscious. Then, having recognized our primal source and opened our hearts to the world, we ascend upward to Capricorn, where we become a conscious individual, ready to take our integrated energies out into the world. Let us prepare for our visualization. Take a moment and get comfortable in your seat, sitting with your spine erect, but with no tension or constriction. And now let us begin by taking a few deep breaths, feeling the breath enter the body, filling it with light and ease. Notice if there's any tension in the body, and send your healing breath to those places. Feel the body release and let go as you exhale. Sit for a few breaths and just allow the breath to help you to come home into the body, to settle and to relax. Now take a moment and send the breath into your emotional body, settling down any feelings or sensations that may be disturbing your peace. Imagine a lake whose waters are still and calm, no ripples or waves, just stillness. Breathe in that calm. Then send your breath into the mind. Ask the mind to cooperate with you as you begin this visualization. Ask that it quiet down and that the busy chatter subside for just this time. Now imagine the light of the soul coalescing in a ball of light above your head. Send your attention there and ask to be connected to this great source of wisdom. Feel that alignment take place. Now, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, take yourself deep into the earth, the home of the mother. Imagine her loving, compassionate nature holding you, filling you with her presence. This is the ground of your being, your true foundation. Feel the strength that is in that. Nothing can ever change this deep connection. Here is your true security. Visualize yourself lying in a field of fragrant flowers now, lying on the earth. Breathe in the sacredness of the flowers and the earthy smell. And feel the safety of this sacred place, filled with the energy of the mother. Her protective shield surrounding you. Feel the energy of Cancer as it fills the air. Breathe in that loving, gentle, nurturing sweetness. Feel how you are honored for your feelings by the mother. How your intuition is supported. How your creativity and sensitivity is totally understood and accepted as a gift. Affirm now to yourself, I am one with my emotional nature. I accept these gifts of Cancer that have come to me. Like water, I flow easily with the tides and my moods. I honor my vulnerability because I know it softens my heart. Now, holding these energies of Cancer within you, let us travel up the mountaintop of Capricorn. Visualize this area at the top of your head. At the mountaintop, we receive the energies of Capricorn. But first, we have to journey upwards. Imagine that long and arduous journey up the mountain. Feel the courage that it took to steadfastly put one foot in front of the other. Determined and committed, you carried on, fearless in your pursuit to reach the top. Now, standing at the top, filled with the light of illumination, allow yourself to feel your inner strength. Breathe it into your being. Capricorn and Cancer meet here within you. Spirit and matter, heaven and earth, strength and vulnerability, earth and water. You dwell within this illumination, integrated and aligned. Give yourself a few moments to sit within this vortex of illuminating light. Feel the energy of Cancer and Capricorn coming together within you. Let this be our prayer for the Cancer month. Pour down upon me the love, the light of the Christ. This is my dwelling place within this love. Now gently bring yourself back, opening your eyes, moving your hands and feet, sending your energy back into the earth to help ground you. With gratitude, we release the energies that we have contacted. Blessed be. And of course, I have to close with a poem. This is called The House of Belonging by David White. I awoke this morning in the gold light, turning this way and that. Thinking for a moment, it was one day like any other. But the veil had gone from my darkened heart, and I thought, it must have been the quiet candlelight that filled my room. It must have been the first easy rhythm with which I breathed myself to sleep. It must have been the prayer I said, speaking to the otherness of the night. And I thought, this is a good day. You could meet your love. This is the black day. Someone close to you could die. This is the day you realize how easily the thread is broken between this world and the next. And I found myself sitting up in the quiet pathway of light, the tawny closed-grained cedar burning round me like fire, and all the angels of this housely heaven ascending through the first roof of light the sun had made. This is the bright home in which I live. This is where I ask my friends to come. This is where I want to love all the things it has taken me so long to learn to love. This is the temple of my adult aloneness, and I belong to that aloneness as I belong to my life. There is no house like the house of belonging. Namaste, friends.